Hey guys, this is Amos Thomas from Island Crypto. I'm here to talk to you guys today about the Elastos Runtime. This is a beautiful thing. I would love to say that this is not financial advice. I'm not giving anyone any advice. I'm just saying I'm doing this out of the love of this project. Now, I will be saying that this video is really geared towards those who are like not very technological at all. I want to repeat and stress. This is going to be very like, this is Elastos for like dummies. So I'm going to be speaking in like baby terms and so on and so forth. You may see me stumble a bit to get the words to explain it to you, but I'm going to do my very best. All right, so let's begin. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. Just in case you're hearing a bit of an accent, I pulled up a few pictures here to show you what we have. You know, we have like the largest culture carnival in the Caribbean, or in the world actually. So people from all over the world fly to come see us and party and drink with us, and you know, we have a good time. So I just want to give you a little bit of concept of who I am, where I'm from, and such. And I also do IT. I work IT. I'm a part. I've been invited to my companies or organizations marketing committee as a technical slash conceptual advisor. Um, right now, I'm redesigning their website and front end. I don't do back end design or back end developing yet. I have friends who contribute to that portion of things. Regardless, just want to give you some information. So let's really just head into the Elastos runtime. And guys, this video may take a while. So it's really for people who really want to get in there and understand the technology, or this is what that video is for. So I will stop talking. Let's really head in there. All right, so I'm going to use a lot of visual aids. I'm a very visual person. I'm going to speak to you guys visually. This is a cell phone. You guys all know that. Yes, right. So I'm going to, as I explain the diagram, you may see me look at you. I may be looking this way. I mean, you know, we're going to have a good time on this explanation video right here. So yeah, you pick up your phone and you instantly gain access to your phone's operating system. This is step one over here. This is step one. All right. Step one, you pick up your phone, you gain access to your phone's operating system. Step 1 to 2. All right. So I'm going to explain to you with these steps exactly how the JVM works and why Elastos chose C++, right, as opposed to running a Java runtime or using the JVM. All right. So I'm really going to explain that to you here. So you pick up your phone, gain access to the operating system, and then step 3 is you run an app. This diagram from here, this entire thing here, this entire diagram will really show you how the process in which the Java virtual machine goes through to then activate itself in the context of Elastos and what we're doing. So yeah, you pick up your phone, you gain access to the operating system, you open the app, you're like, hey, I want to play Clash of Clans. Boom. Now let's assume that Clash of Clans is coded in Java. How exactly is that going to work? How is that going to run? So what happens is the app starts a JVM. It starts a Java virtual machine. Now, let's pause right here. 4. Step number 4 is that. So what is a Java virtual machine? So what this Java virtual machine has in it is all of basically your code. So the code for the game, the Clash of Clans codes, your WhatsApp code, your Facebook code, whatever app it is that's coded in Java that uses a Java virtual machine, it's going to have this JVM. And this JVM will store all of your code. And I've drawn over here this little box to show you what that would look like. Hello. This JVM, so this right here would be your JVM. This whole thing. So now we're going to draw something called the kernel. This is the kernel. And I'm not talking about, yes, sir. No. We're talking about the kernel as in the operating system or at least I wouldn't say the operating. It's not the operating system. It's like it's what's loaded before the operating system. It's like a little program that gives orders to your system. You know, when you speak to the kernel is what decides what your system does. Let me explain that a little bit more for you. So the kernel is a computer program that is the core of a computer's operating system, with complete control over everything in the system. Most systems, it is one of the first program loaded on startup after the bootloader. It handles the rest of the startup as well as input-output requests of software. I repeat that. It handles the rest of the startup as well as input and output requests from software. So when you hit that Clash of Clans, your app needs either to get information from your phone or give information to your phone, or that's how you play the game. So the kernel decides how that happens. And this, my friend, is your kernel. So if this is your app and this is your kernel, how do they speak? Is the real question. Ding, ding, ding. How do they speak? I'm sorry. Speak, of course. Oh, yeah. We can tell why it's speak. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not. I didn't drink that. All right. So, yeah. The JNI, the Java Native Interface. This is the bridge, my friends. I will show you exactly how this works. So, in the Elastos runtime, when you run your code like this, oh, I'm going to run my Clash of Clans. I'm going to run my Clash of Clans right now. Boop. All right. So I ran my Clash of Clans. I hit it. Boom. My JVM is activated. My code is running. Well, at least now I want to reach out to my kernel to get instructions so I could display all of this stuff on your screen, give you your beautiful textures, give you your gameplay, all of that. The JNI, my friends, creates a bridge. So this is really how, oh, I'm sorry, paintbrush. This is how finally the kernel, which is this little thing here, the kernel and the JVM can finally speak using a JNI, Java Native Interface, right? So without the Java Native Interface, without the JNI, the code from Clash of Clans, which is this box here, it can never reach the kernel to then get instructions to do anything. It can't. Your app just won't work. So what the JNI does is it gets all of its buddies, right? It gets all of its buddies, and they break a hole. They destroy a hole in the wall. Not, you know, I'm just using layman's terms here, guys. It breaks a hole in the wall. So now, paintbrush. So now all of your code can reach the kernel. See that, guys? So now all of your code can pour out and finally interact with the kernel, and the world is beautiful. Your app is running, everything works. I feel great. That is step number 5, the activation of the JNI. And step number 6 will be the kernel gives out the orders. Everything works. Now here is the real issue. This is how the internet, I guess, somewhat works today. And this is the problem that Elastos is trying to solve. Now you might be saying, where's the problem? Everything's working here. But if you paid attention to this little guy right here, and you know what? I'm gonna take him back. I'm gonna draw him in a different color because we need a color that represents how dangerous this guy is, right? And I'm gonna give him some red eyes too. This guy is trying to steal your data, right? So now let's get back to the phone, guys. Let's recap a little bit. Let's recap so that we have all of the information in our brains, right? You pick up your phone, you gain access to the operating system. You tap an app like Clash of Clans to run it. This then activates the JVM, right? The JVM cannot speak to the kernel to get instructions, so it sends out the JNI, the Java native interface, which then breaks a hole in this sandbox, because that's what this box represents, guys. This black box here, this is what a sandbox would look like. So you see what I'm saying? JVM virtual machine acts like a sandbox. This box keeps all the code in here, stops it from coming out, and the JNI breaks a hole in that wall and lets the code come right out and speak to the kernel. We're free. So this guy here in the middle is what we call the middleman. Man in the middle. So middleman. All right, I'm really going to have to take some time to really break this one down for you, but I really want to get in there. So the middleman is really accounts for most of our internet attacks today. Most of our attacks on the internet is as a result of middleman attacks. This guy tries to intercept your data. So when you run this Clash of Clans app and the code is released, this guy sneaks here. He comes on down to the bridge where the code is. I'm sorry, let me erase this right here so you guys can really see what's happening. I really want you guys to, because it's going to be rough to understand if you don't have any experience in the field, you know. This guy comes down here to this bridge and he wants to steal the data. So he breaks in and he grabs all of your data, or all of the information that was coming, and now your code is corrupted, or he has access to your stuff, or whatever. So this bridge, the JNI, the bridge, the Java native interface, the bridge for our code is our security flaw. That's the security flaw right now. That's the main reason why nothing else really works. Or at least nothing else really solves the issue of middleman attacks, because no matter what, your data will always have to leave this little sandbox area to get instructions from the kernel. And Captain, the middleman, is going to be right there, ready to steal your data. So Elastos has solved that by building their stuff on top of C++. The problem, so the effects of C++, but I really want to also explain why we have these issues. So the problem arises when you are developing a game, and a game engine, or a multimedia codec, if you needed maximum security. This is where JVM falls short. Remember, guys, because even if the actual Java code runs inside of the Java virtual machine, which is here, in order to talk to the underlying hardware to utilize the resources the hardware provides, the code needs to talk to the kernel first, right here. So the code needs to talk to the kernel first, because the kernel is the interface that can talk directly to the hardware. So the only way the hardware, you can really process your games really well, is if the kernel tells it to process those games really well. And the only way those games can speak to the kernel is through the JNI.